Solving multi-step linear equations. Okay, now we're going to solve linear equations that require more than one step to solve. They're a little more complex. So, starting pretty basic, 2x plus 3 equals 7. So, we know we have to isolate x, but what do we do first? Well, first we're going to get rid of this plus 3 here. Now how do we do that? Well, we're going to move it to the other side. Now remember, when you move to the other side, you have to change the sign. So 2x equals 7 minus 3, which will be 4. And so divide both sides by 2, and x equals 2. So, not that hard, just an extra step that you have to do there. 3x minus 7 equals 11. Move the 7 to the other side, it becomes positive. So 3x equals 11 plus 7, which is 18. Divide both sides by 3, x equals 6. 5x minus 12 equals negative 2. So now we're going to move the negative 12 to this side. So we'll have 5x equals negative 2 plus 12, which is 10. Divide both sides by 5, x equals 2. Negative 6x minus 7 equals 11. Move the 7 over here. Negative 6x equals 11 plus 7, which is 18. Divide both sides by negative 6. X equals 18 divided by negative 6, which is negative 3. Negative 2x minus 3 equals negative 10. Move the negative 3 over to this side. Negative 2x equals negative 7. Divide both sides by negative 2. And x equals 7 over 2. That's negative 7 divided by negative 2. So it's positive 7 over 2. Okay, now we had a fraction as an answer there. Now let's put some fractions in the problem. So 1/2 x minus 4 equals 6. Again, just move this over to the other side. Move the 4 over. 1/2 x equals 6 plus 4. That's 10. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the 1/2. So x equals 20. Okay. Negative 3/4 x minus 1/4 equals 5/4. Whoa, now what do we do here? Everything's a fraction. Well, it's actually really easy because they all have the same denominator. And when everything in the equation has the same denominator, we can just get rid of it. Get rid of the denominators. What we're actually doing is multiplying everything by 4 to get rid of the divide by 4 in each fraction. So negative 3x minus 1 equals 5. Just get rid of the denominators, keep the numerators. Multiply the whole thing by 4. And now this is just a regular linear equation. Negative 3x equals, move the 1 over, so 5 plus 1 is 6. Divide by negative 3, x equals negative 2. Okay. 1/2 x minus 1/4 equals 3/4. Now we have different denominators. So what do we do here? Well, let's just start solving this. 1/2 x equals 3/4. Move the 1/2 over so it'll be 3/4 plus 1/4. That's 1. Now, just multiply both sides by 2. And x equals 2. Okay. Negative 2/3 x plus 5/6 equals 11 over 12. Now we can't just do what we normally do because we have all kinds of crazy fractions here. So let's see if we can multiply everything by 12. So that's the highest number, the highest denominator here. So negative 2/3 x times 12. That's negative 2/3 of 12, so that'll be negative 8x plus 5/6 times 12. 5/6 of 12 is 10 equals 11 over 12 times 12 is 11. Now we just solve this. Negative 8x equals 11 minus 10 is 1. Divide both sides by negative 8. X equals negative 1/8. Alright, 1/3 of x plus 1/4 equals negative 1/6. Okay, again, we should really get rid of the fractions first to make this easier. How are we going to find what number to get rid of now? Well, we're actually going to find the lowest common multiple, or LCM. So the LCM, we look at the denominators. 3, 4, and 6. What's the lowest common multiple of 3, 4, and 6? Well, it's going to be 12 again. So, now we multiply everything by 12. 1/3 x times 12. What's 1/3 of 12? It's 4. 4x plus 12 times 1/4 is 3 equals 12 times negative 1/6. So that's going to be negative 2. And now we just solve this. 4x equals negative 2 minus 3, which is negative 5. Divide by 4, x equals negative 5 over 4. And our last one with fractions, let's do x plus 3 equals negative 3/4. Now here, since you only have one fraction, we can just keep it. So we'll say x equals negative 3/4 minus 3. So, you know what? Let's write this as a mixed number. Negative 3/4 minus 3 equals negative 3 3/4. And then you just want to convert that to a fraction. So it's going to be negative 15 over 4. Okay, and that is multi-step equations with fractions. Now, let's go to a new page. Now, let's do some decimal equations. 0.7x plus 0.4 equals 1.8. Now, what do we do with decimals? Well, we can get rid of them as well by just multiplying this whole thing by 10. And that gets rid of all the decimals. 7x plus 4 equals 18 now. 7x equals 14. X equals 2. Okay, let's try another one. 0.3x minus 0.5 equals negative 2. Again, just multiply everything by 10. 3x minus 5. Negative 2 times 10 is negative 20. 3x equals negative 15. X equals negative 5. Zero 0.04x minus 2.3 equals 7.7. Now, if we wanted to get rid of the decimals in this one, we'd have to multiply the whole thing by 100 because we have two digits after the decimal place here. But that's going to be more trouble than it's worth. So let's just multiply by 10 again. And then we'll have 0.4x minus 23 equals 77. Now you just have one decimal here, so that's okay to keep. This will still be easy enough. 77 plus 23 is 100. And now we are going to do 100 divided by 0.4. So here's a way to think of this. 0.4x equals 100. So you could say 0.8x equals 200, so then 1x equals 250. Or you could think of it as 0.4x is 2/5 of x. So if 2/5 of x is 100, then 5/5 of x is 250. That one's kind of tough to do in your head, but it's important to have good mental math, so I'm challenging you here. 0.3x, sorry, not 0.3x plus 0.2 equals 0.04. So multiply by 10, you get 3x plus 2 equals 0.4. 3x equals 0.4 minus 2 is negative 1.6. X equals negative 1.6 over 3. Now we really shouldn't leave a decimal in there. So multiply this, multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. It'll be negative 16 over 30, and that will reduce to negative 8 over 15. Okay, and that is solving multi-step linear equations. So as you can see, really all it is it's just putting two single-step equations together. You do the addition or the subtraction first, and then you do the multiplication or division. And there are really only two steps unless you have some fractions or decimals that you have to convert.